The New York Knicks are on a 2-game losing streak, and they've given up almost 300 points in the last 2 ball games as they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA in-season tournament, and then they lost on Friday night to the Boston Celtics. We're going to unpack and dissect why the New York Knicks defense has fallen off a cliff as they started the season as the number 1 team in defensive rating. I've got some strong opinions about that, but let's start with the news of the day, and that's around the injury report. Jalen Brunson left that game on Friday night within the last couple of seconds as the Knicks were down. He was just boxing out on a free throw, not even really boxing out, just kind of walking backwards, and then he fell on the foot of Peyton Pritchard, but it sounds like he is going to be okay. Tom Thibodeau spoke to the media on Sunday afternoon and said Jalen will be ready to go on Monday night. It looked like a scary injury. Brunson had some ankle injuries in the past. Remember in the playoffs last year, he was nursing a bad ankle, but he's a tank, he's a warrior, and he's just a gamer and a go-getter. Jalen Brunson will play on Monday night. I will say this, though, for Tom Thibodeau. Having Jalen Brunson in that game where the Knicks were down double digits with less than a minute to go, and the game essentially being over, Boston already emptied out their bench. It was dumb, and it's not the first time he's made a mistake like this before. Not only did he do that with Derrick Rose when he was a member of the Bulls, talking about Tom Thibodeau, he also did, I believe, last year with R.J. Barrett that caused him to miss a couple of games. Look, what do they say? Old dogs don't learn new tricks, and Tom Thibodeau is who Tom Thibodeau is. He's going to keep his starters in the game pretty much in every situation, no matter what the scoreboard says at that moment. I would have taken him out. I don't want my players running even a 1% chance to get injured if there's not a reason to do so. Luckily for him, though, Jalen Brunson sounds like he's going to be ready to go. From good news to maybe potentially bad news. Mitchell Robinson, if you remember, did not start that second half against the Boston Celtics. He was undergoing x-rays during halftime. He was late to come out to the half. Did end up playing the rest of the game, but supposedly the foot and ankle injury may be worse than what we all thought it would be. According to reports, he is undergoing additional testing on his ankle on Sunday. And let's just call a spade a spade. The New York Knicks cannot afford to lose Mitchell Robinson for any extended period of time. I understand if you don't watch the games and you're just a box score hunter and watcher, you're probably like, Marsh, we're not really going to miss him, right? Only 6 points per game could not be further from the truth. Every intangible, every stat that improves the margin, really the DNA of this basketball team thrives and is present because of Mitchell Robinson. Sure, he only averages 6.2 points per game, but he's one of the best rebounders in the league, giving you 10 rebounds per game, more than 5 on the offensive end, giving you almost 2 steals per game, and almost a block and a half per night. But it's so much more than just the cookie-cutter stats, as I sometimes like to call them. Let's look at a little bit more advanced Mitchell Robinson stats. He's number 1 in total box outs per games and total. Why are the Knicks the Knicks? And when the Knicks are good, why are the Knicks good? It's because they are having an efficient offense, but not an efficient offense by what you may think of as an efficient offense. They've never been a top shooting team. Their true shooting and effective field goal percentage is not always that good. Their offensive rating, though, usually has the Knicks in the last couple of seasons when you talk about when they stack up inside that top 10. And it's because Mitchell Robinson is getting him extra possession after extra possession after extra possession due to the boxing out. He's also improved his game, not just as a rim protector, but also just a presence on that defensive end. He averages 1.9 deflections per game, which when you stack it up against centers in this league is number 8 at that position. Also, on December 2nd, I couldn't find the stat over the past week, so maybe the stat has changed. But on December 2nd, Mitchell Robinson had the most passes stolen in the NBA. He had stolen the most passes. So he's a pest around the rim on defense. He dominates the glass on both sides of the board. And now he's an elite player when it comes to playing the passing lanes, and he's been improved tremendously as just a defensive weapon and also number 1 in contested rebound rate. If the Knicks are going to be without Mitchell Robinson for a while, this might be a defense that starts to look a lot more like the last 2 games where they've given up 70 points in 3 halves and 60 points in 4 straight halves. Injuries are terrible. When I play 2K, I turn injuries off because I don't want to deal with that nonsense. Let's get the good vibes rolling. Everyone type the fingers crosses emojis in the chat. Let's hope Brunson's injury is not worse than we all think it may be, and it hopefully doesn't bleed into the future. Let's type the cross finger emoji for Mitchell Robinson because this team cannot afford to play, to be honest with you, any games without him. Let's get the good vibes rolling. Hopefully they're both ready to go on Monday night. Coming up next, why the New York Knicks defense is broken. What? You've given up almost 200, 300 points in the last 2 games? This team has to improve. They have to get better. I'm going to try to break it down and explain why they have been unable to do it against top teams in this league. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor of today's show, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. And if you use the promo code CLNS, Prize Picks will match your initial deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. So easy, all you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players. I'm going to be using this lineup for Monday Night Football as the Giants will be taking on the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go with more rushing attempts for Saquon Barkley, more receiving yards for Jaden Reed, and I'm going to go with less than 2.0 punts inside the 20 for Jamie Gillen. Get hooked up with the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. It's Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. So easy. Even a guy like Producer Seeps can play. You just create a lineup, 2 to 6 players, and just choose more or less on those stats. Alrighty, let's try and figure out here in the next couple of minutes why this Knicks defense has been bad and if there's anything they can do to change it. I mean, well, it is what it is, right? You've given up 280 points in the last 2 games. You gave up almost 150 points to the Milwaukee Bucks, and if the Boston Celtics didn't go cold in that 4th quarter, they might have put 150 points on your butt. Look, I think Tom Thibodeau is a good coach. I think there's an evident ceiling with Tom Thibodeau as your head coach. But you're here for one reason and one reason only. Outside of building culture and creating a sustainable and really just solid locker room presence, you're here to coach defense. And I'm not claiming to be some X's and O's analyst, an X's and O's, nerd. But I know this. Why the hell are you playing drop coverage in a pick and pop situation with Kristaps Porzingis? Kristaps Porzingis did not play for 2 weeks before he played the New York Knicks. And we elected to give him 2 wide open threes off the bat? A guy that's probably feeling still the bad side effects from the ankle. Not in a groove. He's rusty. And we're coming out and playing drop coverage and let Porzingis catch up off the pick and pop and let him fire with a clear vision to the hoop. What was the game plan? Did you game plan? And you know how I know Tom Thibodeau knows he messed up? They changed the game plan in 3 possessions. If you didn't have that much faith in the game plan and only took 2 made threes from Porzingis, why'd you change it? Very, very, very weird the way the New York Knicks played defense against the Boston Celtics. I think they did a better job in those final 3 quarters. But Lord have mercy. Come out with a better attack. Come on, Tibbs. I will say this, though. It's not just Tibbs' fault. And honestly, it's more about the players than Tibbs. This Knicks roster does not fit Tom Thibodeau's defensive vision. If Thibodeau could create his own team and the type of players that he would want to achieve the mission and operate on the defensive end the way he wants the teams to play basketball, this Knicks roster wouldn't be. It doesn't have a point guard that can guard other elite guards. The wings are too small. RJ Barrett's not a good defender. Let's be honest. Jalen Brunson's not a good defender. Julius Randle's not a good defender. I think Josh Hart battles his butt off. He's 6'5". I think Quentin Grimes is a pretty good defender. He's 6'5". The Knicks need a point of attack defender like we all need oxygen. Why? Because if you are going to build a team around Jalen Brunson, you have to have a wing defender that can go and take his matchup, and then you can go and hide Jalen Brunson on somebody else. And it's not just Jalen Brunson's fault. We understand that it has to be a thing. But because the Knicks are consistently getting beaten off the dribble, shoot, Emmanuel quickly was getting dominated by Derek White. Nobody could stay in front of any guards for Boston. Nobody could stay in front of any guards for Milwaukee. The Knicks are always in rotation because they allow paint touch after paint touch after paint touch. And when you touch that paint and you kick, defense is sucked in and you have wide open 3 after wide open 3. If you can't stop guards from going to the rack, your defense is not going to be good. And right now, the Knicks defense is not good. Why? Because it's tough to have 3 negative defenders in the starting lineup. And as much as I love Jalen Brunson, as much as I love the effort he shows, as much as I appreciate that he takes the most charges in the NBA, he is a liability on defense, as is RJ Barrett, who feels like he's got the slowest lateral feet in the NBA. I feel like he has cement bricks tied to his feet. And let's just call it as what it is with Julius Randle. He's not a good defender. He gives you no defensive versatility. He can't come from the weak-sided help. And he's not a guy that could switch on smaller guards. I mean, look at this team. Jalen Brunson, not a good defender. RJ Barrett, not a good defender. Julius Randle, not a good defender. I love the energy and effort from Emmanuel quickly, but he's a little bit smaller. DiVincenzo's an energy and effort guy. The only really good perimeter defenders you have are Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart. They're both undersized to be wing defenders. And while Mitchell Robinson is great, he can't clean up for everybody's mistakes. But I do believe that this Knicks defense is better than they are showing. This Knicks team in general is better than they are showing. They have 9 losses this year, all against teams over 500. You got to shake something up. How many times do you got to let the bully beat your ass until you change your approach? Right now, the Knicks can't beat the top teams, and it's because of the defensive effort. At the end of the day, for me, the roster makeup is just bad. Jalen Brunson is going to be the point guard of this team for the foreseeable future. And for you to create a successful championship contending lineup with Jalen Brunson, he has to be surrounded with elite defenders. RJ Barrett's not that guy. Julius Randle is not that guy. You need people that can guard on the wing, that can guard guards, that can be versatile, that can switch, that can fight under screens, that can go under screens. You don't feel like you're automatically going to lose a matchup when there's a switch. You need a small forward that can guard 1 through 4. You need a power forward that can help Mitchell Robinson as a weak side defender. As long as those two guys are here, I'm not sure you're ever going to be that team. What do you think the Knicks' biggest problem right now is? Is it the lack of a star? Is it the lack of ball movement? Is it the lack of needle movers? Is it too many guys in the rotation? Is it the defense? Is it the effort? Is it the chemistry? For the first time in my time watching Jalen Brunson as a Knick, I felt like he was a little disengaged in that game on Friday night. I would be too if the ball was taken out of my hands if I'm Jalen Brunson and all we're doing is posting up Julius Randle at the high screen. I don't need to see Julius Randle be the engine to this offense anymore. Let Jalen Brunson cook. Let me know what you think. Biggest problem for the New York Knicks right now. I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Not going to be live on the channel Monday night. I'll be live for the Giants and Packers game. But Wednesday, and I believe Thursday the Knicks play this week, or maybe just Wednesday, we'll be live on the channel Wednesday for a watch party. So subscribe and turn the notifications on. Let's go Knicks.